Hello and welcome to In the Library with
Tara!
and Adrian. Welcome to the second week of January. Can you believe how time has already flown?
See, now I have to be very specific because you always make us say the years and all the events, and I have to make sure I say the correct year.
That is correct, because this is the second week of January. What year?
2025!
That's right, 2025. And we're going to go right into it. What is it we're talking about today?
Life. Bananas?
I thought we were going to talk about Hans Christian Andersen's The Snow Queen,
That too.
which was sort of adapted into a Disney film.
Okay. So first I'm gonna admit, so there's 7 stories with the Snow Queen. 7 stories that go together to create the whole story. I completed 4 of them. I apologize. I was not able to finish the other 3. But out of what I read, literally nothing is the same. It's not about her. There is some snow mentioned.
My deepest upset for readers, for listeners who may not be in the aware, The Snow Queen was written by Hans Christian Andersen and published in December of 1844 as one of his many fairy tales.
Mhm.
The original vaguely follows the story of a boy and a girl who the boy finds himself cursed by a troll's magic mirror.
I actually kind of liked that idea. And I will say that is the only part so far that follows the movie, not the cursing part, but like there's like this giant like snow troll, and in Frozen there's the giant marshmallow. Not the same at all. One's called Devil, one's called Marshmallow, but that did make me happy.
Right. So a troll creates a magic mirror which shatters,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone who is hit with a shard of the mirror becomes cold and distant and, frankly, just mean.
Well, that's if it hits your heart. If it hits you like in the eye, then you see things like all twisted. You think beautiful things are ugly and very cynical.
My biggest regret is that they changed the characters' names because Anna and Elsa is fine, but I really think one of them should have been called Gerda.
I do like Gerda. Kai and Gerda.
Kai and Gerda. And so, for the listeners who are not aware, Kai is the boy, and he is hit by the shards of the mirror, and he gets one in the eye and one in the heart, and becomes kind of just a dislikable fellow.
I know he was so sweet in the beginning, but then even after he like basically turns into an evil little boy, like Gerda still loves him. Like she doesn't like change at all. She's still like that's my bro.
That's just who he is. And then Gerda sets out on a magical quest to track down Kai and bring him back. First assuming that he is dead and drowned, and then traveling to a witch's garden and onward to Lapland, and then, if you can believe it, Finland,
Finland.
the magical, mystical country of Finland.
Yeah.
Did you get as far in the book as the robber girl?
No.
She's a thief.
Cool.
She implies that she may be a cannibal.
Oh. This is not the Grimm's stories. This is
No, she likes to threaten. There is a reindeer involved in the story, which obviously Disney kept into Frozen.
I appreciate that.
But the little robber girl, who I believe is just called the little robber girl the entire time, she likes to threaten the reindeer at knife point every night to keep it in line.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah. But she does eventually relent and let the reindeer escape with poor little Gerda so that she can go and rescue Kai.
Why? So when you brought this up, like obviously, like in my head, like I'm just picturing Flynn Rider, which is the wrong story. That's Tangled, but
Yeah. She shows back up at the end, but she's now
did she eat Gerda?
she's wielding guns and
Cool.
going on crazy adventures, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't imagine why she was cut from the Disney adaptation.
Hey, if you look at Tangled, they had tons of thieves and bad guys. And you know what? Down at the heart of them all, they just like magic little ponies. Did you ever watch Tangled?
I've seen Tangled.
Okay.
I just the little robber girl.
Is she tougher than them?
she mostly just likes to make things afraid. Really, that's her sole motivation in the entire book. Is she likes to scare things. She likes the look in the reindeer's eye when she threatens it at knife point. She likes holding down Gerda and watching her be scared. Like,
Yeah,
she's just
that's a little dark for Disney. A
little dark.
little disturbing.
And this from the same man who brought you Hans Sprinker or the Silver Skates.
Huh?
Did you ever read that one?
Uh-uh.
Oh, it's another Hans Christian Andersen about a little boy who gets, if you can believe it, a pair of silver skates.
Ooh.
And he skates. I know, it's shocking.
That's the story. That's kind of dull.
Well, you'll have to read it to find out what misadventures he gets up to with his silver skates.
I would. You sold the story so well.
Did you ever see the Disney movie Brink?
Yes. With the roller skaters. That was good.
I wonder if that's a Disney adaptation of Hans Brinker.
So every once in a while that pops up on my Disney Plus account. And part of me really wants to watch it again, but I've tried rewatching some movies from my childhood. And they're never as good as I remember them. And I'm really worried about ruining that memory in my head because I really liked that film.
Oh, you don't have to worry. Team Pup and Suds holds up to this day. It does not. Oh, I am mistaken. I am utterly mistaken, and I will let our listeners know that Hans Brinker was not written by Hans Christian Andersen. Like I thought, it was written by Mary Mapes Dodge.
You lied.
Same time period, but it was a different person. I fully admit I was wrong about that. He did write The Little Mermaid, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Because I remember seeing the statue. When
She dies in the end.
She does.
She becomes one with the waves because the prince doesn't love her, which I think is very dramatic and is also why 16-year-olds shouldn't change everything about themselves and sign a contract and run away to be with a guy.
It's true.
You know you're an adult when you start to side with the adults in Disney films. So the day I finally was on King Trident's side, I'm like, oh, darn it, I'm an adult.
How dare you?
I don't want to grow up. Back to Frozen.
I'm reading because it's been 20 years since I've read Hans Brinker, and actually, the movie Brink is clearly based on this.
Is it really?
Yeah, he gives up his chance to win a race to assist his friend Gretel with winning her race.
But you know what? That doesn't surprise me because Disney steals all of their stories. I don't think they actually have any original stories or plots.
That's true.
It's all based off of old works of art.
So, what is your favorite thing about Disney's Frozen?
Disney's Frozen. Everything. I really like it. So, as you know, I directed Frozen Junior this past spring. And amazingly, I was not sick of any of the songs at the end of it. Oh, you know what? That's my favorite. In the musical, I love the Higa, which is the song that I don't know what to call him, but like he's the one who owns the sauna and like sells them the stuff. So he's my favorite character in the movie, and then I love the Higa song in the musical. What's your favorite part?
Of Frozen?
Yes.
You know, I'm really partial to the end credits.
Wow. Fine. What's your daughter's favorite thing of that? Because I know she likes Frozen.
Oh, she likes everything about it. I do actually have a favorite spot in the credits because a woman I went to college with, Mary Tuhig, she helped create the film.
Oh.
And every time her name pops up in the credits, I'm like, I knew her when.
What'd she do on the film? Do you know?
Yes, she was the character TD simulation, whatever that means.
Well, TD would be technical director. Simulation would be the cartoon effect.
Probably.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I know she was a digital arts major and so I assume she did some technical stuff with
That's really
animating them. Specific, Mary, if you're listening, I apologize in advance, but I think she did a lot with like clothing, so I think she helped animate the way the clothes moved on the characters.
That takes actually a lot of talent and a lot more time and attention to detail than people consider. I remember going to a museum and seeing a display for Brave, which was Pixar, but them talking about just doing her hair. She had that crazy curly hair.
That mini fro?
Her hair was awesome. I wish I had her hair. But that took hours and hours because they did like each individual curl in every frame. I couldn't do that. I wish I could draw. No one wants me designing a cartoon.
So check out next week on our podcast when we'll be featuring a cartoon by our own Tara Althouse.
No.
Did you ever do those cartoons where you draw on one sheet of paper and then you draw something slightly different on a second sheet of paper and then you just run your pencil back and forth really fast?
Oh, you made one of those before.
Probably.
But no, I always like the ones where like you have like a whole booklet and then you can flip through. I could never do that, but I think they're so cool.
What have you been reading this week besides
Besides Snow Queen, which is absolutely nothing like Frozen at all.
There are a few plot points that they have kind of in common.
Yes, there's a Snow Queen. There is some snow. And there's reindeer.
The Huga scene is Higa is it's a woman in the book, but there's a similar scene, so they got that going for them.
Ooh, we'll have to finish it then.
Let's see. So what have you been reading?
So when I was on vacation over Christmas, I was actually able to finish a couple books, which made me happy because I'm like in the middle of 8. I need to finish them. So I was able to read Tuck Everlasting. I read Black Klansman, and I finished I'll Be Waiting. So Tuck Everlasting, I think they made a film, didn't they?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. I've never seen the film, and I had never read the book before. Honestly, very underwhelming. I don't really know what I expected, but not that it was a bad story, but I wouldn't recommend it necessarily.
It's not one of your everlasting favorites.
No, Tuck will not be everlasting in my heart.
Tragedy.
I know. I really did enjoy Black Klansman, though. Have you seen that movie?
I have not.
So I watched the movie years ago for school, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good film, and I knew it was based off a true story, but I didn't know it was based off a book. So the author, I believe his name is Ron Stallsworth. He is an African-American cop in Colorado, and back in the day, he infiltrated the KKK group in Colorado, and it's all about his story and how he infiltrated that and stopped a lot of bad stuff from happening. And it was really good. I highly recommend both the book and the movie.
And what was the third one you finished?
I'll Be Waiting by Kelly Armstrong.
She wrote the one about the people in time, right?
A Rip Through Time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what was this one about?
This one is about a woman with cystic fibrosis, and her husband dies at the very beginning. They get hit by a car during a storm, and then she is trying to contact his ghost throughout the book, and she keeps dealing with all these charlatans. So she finally sets up one last seance with a skeptic, someone who does these but is very skeptical, and so they know that anything they find will be accurate, and ghostly stuff is happening. And is it her husband, or is it something more sinister? Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
I love her. She is one of my favorite authors. I read all of her stuff. It's not my favorite out of everything she's written, but it's also not my least favorite. It's definitely in the upper third. So I would recommend if you like a good mystery, some ghosts.
Fair enough.
What about you? Reading anything fun?
So, for the Christmas season, I read my first and probably last Susan Mallory book with One Big Happy Family. Are you familiar with Susan Mallory or her work?
I've seen the books, but I've never read them. Was it a big happy family?
Well, One Big Happy Family involves a very dysfunctional family who gets together in a apparently massive cabin for Christmas where they bring along their boyfriends, ex-wives, and their
Why would you bring your exes?
daughters, ex-boyfriends, and it was fine, I guess. It was
Was this like they all get along still and they want to be together, or was this
no,
like
this
a...
was very contrived.
Hmm.
There were circumstances that were forcing them all together against their wishes.
So was it like a mystery then?
No, no.
Oh.
It was I think it was supposed to be a comedy. I think.
You're not sure.
It didn't land for me. If you're a Susan Mallory fan, I apologize in advance, but the book did not do it for me. I think it spent far too much time focusing on one of the main characters, IBS, and their love lives, which really wasn't very interesting. So,
Will you give her books another chance, or is this your last Susan book?
if you're listening out there and you have one to recommend to me that will change my opinion of Susan Mallory, feel free to leave it in the comments down below.
But you're a little skeptical.
A little skeptical. For my second read over the break, a decent one, Lucy Foley's The Midnight Feast. Are you familiar?
I am not.
So The Midnight Feast, it's something of a mystery thriller where it jumps back and forth through a couple different time periods trying to... Because in the present, there is a massive house fire. In the near past, there were a bunch of people going to a very exclusive and wealthy person's retreat. And then in the very, very far past, a bunch of those people who are going to the retreat seem to have all chanced to meet each other one summer long ago. So it's sort of how all of that intertwined and leaves you guessing who died in the fire and was it an accident?
So is everyone from the first timeline involved in like all three timelines?
Yes.
Okay.
They all find their way there for various reasons.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty good. One of the better mystery thrillers I've read in a while. And I am currently reading His Black Tongue by Mitchell Luthi.
Interesting.
It is a medieval France horror novel.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting. We'll see how it finishes because it started strong, but I'm going to be honest, it's getting a little weak already. So we'll see how that works. But
Are you the type of person where if you don't like a book, will you give it up, or do you like have to push yourself through?
I will absolutely give it up.
Really?
Life is too short to read a bad book.
See, I have to remind myself that more often. It might take me a year to finish it, also because I read like 8 books at a time, but I can't let it go because I'm like, I've already invested time into the story.
But that's the sunk cost fallacy. You've invested the time. Take what you've learned that it's a bad book. And move on.
But I've already lost so much time. I might as well lose a little more.
I suppose that's fair. We're going to shift gears slightly, if that's all right with you.
No, didn't agree to this.
Well, why don't we talk about what's going on at your local library?
Ooh. Well, coming up at the Bedford Branch Library, speaking of Frozen and Higa, we are going to have Higa at the library, although it doesn't involve Disney or Frozen or singing.
It doesn't involve that yet.
Ooh. We could just have it playing in the background. So this will be a week-long event. It is running from January 21st to January 26th, 2025. Snuggle up near the fireplace with a good book, a warm beverage, and a relaxing craft. We'll be practicing the Danish art of hygge, or cozy living. In the dreary winter months, this will be the perfect pick-me-up. Last year it was really cute, so we have a really nice fireplace at the Bedford Branch, and there were a bunch of different types of crafts. You can kind of pick what you wanted, and there was usually some snacks and stuff, and it was really cute. I highly recommend. It's for all ages.
For all ages.
And you don't have to register. You can just show on up.
So this event is Show and Tell at the Bedford Library. This will be occurring on Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 4 p.m. But registration is required, which is why we're announcing it now. Bring in an interesting artifact, travel memento, a beloved toy, family heirloom, or something else you would like to share. Be prepared to talk about your item for a few minutes and answer questions from fellow participants. If you aren't able to transport your item but would like to participate, feel free to bring a photo. Ages 12 and up, adults welcome and encouraged.
I think that sounds really cute. All right, really quickly, if you had to pick something right now to do show and tell with, what would you do?
I have this really cool hangnail. No, kidding.
I'm not gonna say don't do that one, but probably not the first choice.
That's fair.
Also coming up at the Bedford Branch Library is Computers 101. This is going to happen multiple times. I believe this semester it is on Thursdays, and it is from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. I believe it happens twice a month. Ever need help with computers? We know computers are always changing. Come to the Computer 101 series. Each lesson will cover a specific aspect of computers and build on the previous classes. Registration is required.
Bum, bum, bum. Something which requires no registration. The Bedford Branch Library is pleased to remind you that Build and Create with Lego and Mega Blocks happens on Tuesdays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. We'll provide the blocks. You bring the imagination.
Ooh.
I don't have one.
I'm so sorry. We gotta go find you an imagination.
Let's go.
Adventure time.
Come on, grab your... Oh, copyright struck.
Coming up at the Bedford Branch Library is the Native Plant Winter Sowing Workshop. I'm actually very excited about this. I am already signed up and ready to go. This will be Saturday, January 25th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Join Master Gardener Michelle at this hands-on workshop to create your own winter sowing planters and to learn about winter sowing native plants. All supplies are provided, but feel free to bring your own gardening gloves. You do need to register ahead of time, so you can do that through the computer or at your local library branch.
Local library?
Who would have thunk? Also coming up is the Brothers Groove. This is an annual Black History Month blues series. It's the 38th year. It's pretty neat. Tuesday is Blues Day, so it is free and appropriate for all ages. This event's going to take place on Tuesday, February 18th at 7 p.m. The Brothers Groove, led by organist Chris, pay tribute to one of the blues series' favorite performers, the late Johnny Bassett. Accompanying the band for the tribute are special guest guitarist Brett and sax player Keith. This will be at the Bedford Branch Library, again on February 18th at 7 p.m.
Join us for our Movies Around the World series, showing the second Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. at the Bedford Branch Library. We just saw Chicago, but coming up on February 12th, we'll be having Sahara.
I like Chicago. Those were my first college musicals I was in.
Is that the one about the lion and he wants to be the king?
Narnia? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
I don't think that's a musical. All I can think of is Narnia. Am I missing something?
I'm just gibbering.
This is about the women who are murderers. They're in prison, and actually, I believe it's loosely based off of a true story, where there's these two women who did commit murders, but were able to get off. They had like a good lawyer, and it was it was in the newspapers. It was very popular story at the time.
But did they have it coming?
They had it coming. They had it coming.
And we're copy struck again.
Nope, it's under, isn't it like 30 seconds?
I don't know.
No, we're good. We're solid. Why?
Okay. I would like to remind everyone, if you've made a New Year's resolution to get in shape, every Sunday at 4 p.m. here at the Bedford Branch Library, we are bringing you aerobics class. Come, join us. We'll watch a video from the 80s or 90s, and we'll follow along to get in shape. Join us.
I need to do that. I kind of want to bring my niece to that, and we can watch Richard Simmons.
I bring the best outfits. Just saying.
As you should.
Right, so jumping outside of Bedford, the Ellis Library and Reference Center is pleased to present Curious Kids Learning Lab, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. This will run from January 7th to April 29th, with no meetings on February 18th or March 25th. Your 4 to 7-year-old is invited to explore, create, and have a blast at our Curious Kids Lab. Bum, bum, bum. Register online.
Is it kid age or kid at heart?
Well,
'Cause I'm a child at heart.
it does say 4 to 7-year-old, so if I erase that little line there, 47-year-olds can attend.
There you go. But I'm not 47 either.
Well, I'm in. Let's see. The Robert A. Vivian Branch Library is pleased to present Puzzle in a Day. The next occurrence will be February 5th, 2025, from 1 to 6 p.m. Do you love putting puzzles together?
Yes.
Join us at the Vivian Branch Library between 1 and 6 p.m. on the first Wednesday of every month. Join fellow patrons as we attempt to finish a puzzle in a day.
Ooh.
I should be able to do that. I had one that said 3 to 5 years, and it only took me one year.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. I'm talented.
But I feel like it was like 100 pieces too, wasn't it?
No, it
Was
was
it 50?
it was 12.
12 pieces?
Yeah,
Wow.
because it took me like every month I managed to put another
One
piece
piece.
where it goes. Yeah, so
Good job.
I know. I'm very proud.
A lot of talent.
Would you believe it was 4 pieces by 3 rows? That was something else.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be like 12 tall.
No.
Oh.
If there's anything you would like to have us discuss here on In the Library, please leave a comment down below or reach out to us.
Yes.
We're always taking suggestions for what you would like us to talk about. Is there anything you would like to let our listeners know?
Happy birthday to one and all.
Or at least to everyone born this week.
No, I want everyone to have a happy birthday.
Fair enough. This has been In the Library with
Tara.
and Adrian.
Toodles.